Hey, so we got a question from our friend Alice. She has a dear friend, is what she calls him, who is sick and depressed. So he's got an illness that could potentially kill him, but he refuses to go to the doctor. He says, I'm just waiting till this all just takes over and brings me to my deathbed. He's a depressing, sad, downer type guy, and Alice is always trying to tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, wake up. Why are you so depressed? Why don't you go to the doctor? Why don't you do something? Why don't you enjoy your life? Get out of this depression. Alice is really heavily invested in his experiencing life to its fullest, right? Noble cause. You want to see your friend become the strongest version of himself. But he is not just mediocre. He's dug himself into a ditch, mentally, physiologically, and physically. In many ways, you might say that perhaps he's a lost cause. But you come to Elliot, right? Because I tend to give some interesting ideas that might support you and your ability to support him, because that's what it's all about, right? Become the strongest version of yourself, inspire others. What can I do, Elliot, to motivate my friend to motivate himself so that he could experience life to its fullest? Here's the thing. I'm not interested in your friend, nor do I want to talk about your friend, Alice. I want to talk about you. Okay? I'm wondering why you're so heavily invested in pulling this person up out of their ditch. Now, I'm not saying that you should be hard-hearted or indifferent to other people's pain, but there tends to be a particular type of person, you, who is very attracted to victims, him. He has chosen his position in life at this point, and he is a taker, he's a sucker, he's a victim, okay? And again, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't do what we can do to invite him back up out of the ditch and to enjoy life. But the amount of emotional investment that you have in it, which is evident through the letter that you wrote me, begs me to consider that perhaps you are dealing with a situation where your self-worth is intrinsically linked to your ability to help victims. And that's often a manifestation of experiences that we had with our parents of the opposite sex. So my question to you is, why do you feel that your self-worth is tied up in saving him? Oftentimes, young women who find themselves attracted to damaged boys, and when I say damaged boys or damaged men, I mean like those who are just like, life is heavy and hard for them. They've been a victim, they're victimized. Which I do this, victimized, because he clearly is creating his situation. Victimized by the illness, victimized by the depression, and just all the bad. He can't even kill himself. She says that he tried to attempt suicide, but it was just too much. You perhaps have experienced a situation where your father, correct me if I'm wrong, was victimized by life also, but as a 9-year-old, 10-year-old young girl, you couldn't save him. Maybe your dad was fired from his job and spent the rest of his days as an alcoholic, and you just wanted to save your daddy. Or perhaps your mom was a bitch and treated him poorly, and you always just wanted to stand up and save your daddy. Whatever it is, for some reason, you feel that your self-worth is tied to your ability to save someone, particularly a man. I would invite you to turn away from him and his situation, because he's nothing but an anchor. And if it's not him, let's say he dies. He's gone. Oh, poor Pete. He killed himself, because that's really what he did. Even if he doesn't take his own life with a gun, he's killing himself with the illness. You're going to find another victim, and the next man that you decide to enroll in relationship with, be it sexually or friendship-wise, is going to be another anchor, another loser, another person you've got to save. Now, you could go about, there's nothing wrong with this. Hey, you could go about the rest of your life looking for people to save. And if that's the way the Spirit wants to move through you, then that's just fine. But I have a tendency to think that there are probably better, greater, more powerful things that you could do to reach people who want to be helped. See, if he decides that he wants to take your help and he becomes what he potentially could be, you have now lost your positioning. You've lost your grounding. Oh shit, he doesn't want to kill himself anymore. He actually is getting healthy. He's feeling good. And then you know what you're going to have to do? Come back home. Oh, he went on. You're left at home now with no purpose. So you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna look for another loser. Ah, he's sick, he's sad, he's depressed. I wanna help him. And then he either kills himself or you actually motivate him. And then you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna have to come back home. You're gonna have to keep coming back home. So my invitation is, come home now and figure out why is it that you feel that you need to do this, and is there something better that you could do with your time? Again, I tend to think that there are things that you could do that could support people who genuinely are in a situation where they just need a hand. Okay? So that's it. I didn't answer your question because I don't think your question is the question behind the question. The question behind the question is, why are you attracted to someone like this? And how can you become a stronger version of yourself so that you don't fall into ditches with downers and you could help build up people who want to be built up? Good luck.